Welcome to Pennsylvania in Focus. I'm Kristen Smith. As the Pennsylvania Treasurer's election approaches in November, incumbent Stacy Garrity touts her accomplishments and stewardship of Pennsylvania's tax dollars. However, the Democratic challenger Erin McClelland argues that the office needs a shakeup in the name of transparency and less politicized investments. Joining me today is the Center Square's Pennsylvania reporter, Anthony Hennon. Anthony, talk about the differences between these two candidates.
Yeah, so Garrity is really running hard here on her record. As she argued, I'm focused on trying to do anything I can to help Pennsylvanians. She's highlighted a few different things. She started an investment pool for the state's emergency savings account, the rainy day fund, if you will, basically pouring those funds into a separate account to bear more interest and kind of build that up. Garrity said that since they started this in October 2023, it's earned more than $235 million. She's also talked about improving transparency and trying to set up the transparency portal on the Treasurer's website so people can understand how much money is in the general fund, what's happening with state taxpayer dollars on a daily basis. They're also doing more outreach, trying to promote Treasury programs like the Pennsylvania 529 plan, which is a college savings fund for families to basically build up some wealth and drive down college costs for them when their kids finally get older. Pennsylvania Able, which is a savings account for Pennsylvanians with disabilities. There's also, she talked about the state's investment plan getting upgraded by Morningstar to Gold, which makes it one of two plans nationally that have that designation. Basically, she's making the case that she's been a good steward of Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars, keeping fees incredibly low and trying to show, just residents how they can save, how they can prepare for the future in better ways.
So then you have Erin McClelland, who is accusing her of politicizing the office. So can you talk a little bit more about what she means by that?
Yeah, so McClelland was pointing to last October when Garrity announced that the office would be buying $20 million worth of Israeli war bonds, also some investments in the Saudi Arabian stock market via BNY Mellon. McClelland said she's made some pretty bombastic statements about the war in Israel, and what she should have been doing was focusing on cybersecurity here at home. McClelland also argued that due to this focus on political topics or not focusing on the stewardship of funds, there's been problems with cybersecurity. It's fairly well known a while ago that the Aliquippa Water Authority was hacked by Iran, and McClelland was arguing essentially without paying more attention to cybersecurity for local municipalities and things like that. We're not taking these issues seriously enough and protecting Pennsylvanians' money, data, making sure these kind of basic infrastructure things are taken care of.
So how would she do it better?
How would she do it better? McClelland is basically arguing that she first improve transparency. McClelland was criticizing Garrity of the 40-page asset report that the Treasury puts out. It has some information, but it's not really talking about what's actually getting invested in. With contracts on the transparency portal, we're not necessarily seeing which ones are with our union, which ones are non-union. You can't see which businesses are minority-owned or women-owned businesses. McClelland was also arguing that she'd like to bring the Treasury back into a shareholder engagement program with other state treasuries, which just basically means when Treasury is buying into different stocks, different index funds, et cetera, this gives them some power to put some pressure on companies. So McClelland pointing out the idea of, if you're invested in a pharmaceutical company or an opioid manufacturer, you can come in and use that shareholder vote to say, we want you to do more on preventing addiction. Or basically, as she summed it up, was using that resource as a way not just to create change and affect real social quality of life at the street level, but in the boardroom.
Anthony, thanks for joining us today. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com.